if you're feeling stuck and you're not where you thought you would be at this stage in your life, then our calculation has to change on what we thought was required to get there. And this I find to be a missing piece for so many people, including myself, where we have an aim, something that we're trying to move towards in life. And we naturally, when we set an aim, set a calculation on what we think we need to do to get there. And then sometimes we don't get there, or we don't actually even make progress towards it. We get stuck. But the thing that we don't do is we don't change the calculation. Sometimes we just say it wasn't meant to be, or we try the same things over and over again. Where I do this is with focus. Like sometimes I my short-term memory isn't very good. So I'll forget something and then I'll say, I need to remember that next time. Okay. Like, all right, I'm going to do a better job at remembering that. It's like, hold on a second. What makes me think that I now have the ability to remember things like this, even though I've demonstrated that I can't? So the calculation is flawed in my mind that by grunting, I'll now remember these little things versus, hey, I thought based on my calculation that I was doing what was required to remember this thing. I was wrong. I was wrong about my calculation, what was required. How do I need to change the calculation to set me up with a higher degree of possibility moving forward, right? So this is such an important thing. If there's any area of your life that isn't where you'd like it to be, and you're not making the amount of progress towards it that you'd like, then it's so important to stop for a second, not to shame ourselves, but to say, hey, I had a calculation, even if it was a vague one, on what I thought I needed to do or what would be required, the price to pay, as I say it, in order to fulfill on this thing or move towards this thing, to get to the top of the mountain. I was wrong about my calculation. Now, the best thing I can do is change the calculation. Now I want to give you guys 3 things that you can add into your calculations to make it helpful. The first one is mindset, right? So sometimes how we're thinking about the process is the thing that's preventing us from moving forward towards it, right? Sometimes we're only part of that mindset, we're only aware of one side of the coin, which means I know that to go to the gym requires a price, physically, mentally, financially, whatever. But if I'm losing motivation and I'm not motivated 2 weeks in, maybe how I'm thinking about the entire process is flawed. Maybe I need to also keep in mind the price of not going to the gym, right? The price of not focusing on my health, the price of not being consistent, not training myself to be more disciplined. What does that path look like over the next 3 to 5 years? And keep that as part of a mindset could be more beneficial. So that's number 1. Number 2 is environment. So why I think we have this flaw sometimes of not changing our calculation on what's required is there's an over-reliance on willpower or motivation. It's like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to be better. We do this with like New Year's resolutions. I'm going to be different this year. It's like, what makes you think you've never demonstrated competence in this area? You've never shown any self-restraint or discipline towards this area. What makes you think simply because of the date that you now have what is required to fulfill in this thing? And the only thing you were missing was a date. And I'm by no means against New Year's resolutions. I'm very much for them and leveraging the opportunity that presents itself in the equation by having a new starting point, right? I think it's great. But in and of itself isn't enough in the calculation to propel most people towards the things that they name. So how can we set up our environment to increase the probability of our success? Maybe that's, this is the whole, I tell in my classes, if there's Oreos in the house, I'm going to eat them. I know not to put my willpower in the calculation that if they're on the counter, I will eventually break and I'll eventually eat them. So in my calculations now is I design my environment to make the probability of me not eating Oreos higher. And so I put that in there. There's also areas in my life where I don't leverage this enough. So much of what I've been able to do in my life in short time spans was because of the military. Well, the military was an environment that made some things very easy because of the structure, right? So ask yourself, if you're not making progress towards your financial goals, your fitness goals, your relationship goals, your self goals, how can I design my environment to increase the chances of my success? Okay. Last one, expert. Maybe we have no idea what is required to fulfill in this thing. So it's like asking a 6-year-old, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be president. I want to be an astronaut. It's like, we know intuitively they have no idea what's required to get there. Now, we don't necessarily, that doesn't mean we talk them out of it in that moment. We encourage it because they're going to learn in pursuit of it, right? It might be till the next day till they watch the next cartoon. But the point is, they have no idea the calculation required to fulfill the thing. Now, we can waste a lot of time. I have wasted a lot of time in the past with different areas of my life trying to figure things out on my own. There's nothing wrong with figuring things out on your own. It just takes time. You pay the price in time and what you might save with money. But you might get to a point, I know I did, where trying to learn geometry on my own on a chalkboard and taking 3 years, if that would be solved in 3 weeks with a tutor, like, it's well worth it, right? And so again, if you have an area of your life that you're not progressing at the rate you like, find someone who understands the calculation. Doesn't mean you even have to hire somebody. Just spending 15 minutes on Google and researching, typing in the question, how do you get here? Read the most researched articles, read the most clicked YouTube videos on that topic, and learn about the calculation. You might find some things that would be helpful. I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. If not, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. If you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button and then let me know in the comments what questions you guys have, what content you want to see, have me talk about. I'm going to pull from the comment section to create more videos and look forward to seeing you guys all soon.